Like a spot.
Alright, hi to anyone who's watching this. My name is Sarah, and I'm going to make a coming out video because big news, I know.
Look at that little
And basically, I'm already out to anyone that matters, but
that matters.
yeah, basically, no, like any other family and friends and stuff. Like I'm completely out at the age of 14. I know, but you know, I'm making this video for anybody. I am a proud lesbian. I like girls.
That's
now,
it.
that is it. That's straight up just how it is.
Huh?
I have a girlfriend actually. Anyway, but yeah. So I'm basically making this video because I know there are a lot of people out there who can't be as lucky as I am to be able to be out at 14 and have everything go fine. I know a lot of people have trouble, and a lot of people, this is really a touchy subject. And I figured, what else to do with I figured what else to do with my time than to make this video and hopefully help one or two of you. I don't care if this gets like 7 views. If I can help somebody, it matters. So, okay. I'm gonna start with, I guess, where this all started. Serious. I'm not used to a serious thing. By the way, this is Allie. I have a segment on her coming up in a little bit. But, I'll start with where it all started. Growing up, I always knew that, like, something was, like, different. I know it's the cheesiest, what everyone says, but, like, it's true. And I always used to scare myself when I thought of, like, not just liking guys, because, like, I thought that wasn't, like, normal, and I was scared that, like, I wouldn't be accepted and, like, I would be judged. Because when you're younger, you scare yourself about almost everything. And I would literally sit at home giving myself reasons as to why I shouldn't like girls, and it never worked, because they were all just excuses. And, like, growing up, I had boyfriends, and I liked all of them. They weren't all just, like, beards or something. And then, when I started going into middle school, and I started to, like, mature a little bit, and actually think about this, like, seriously, and not just joking about it, I started to realize that I did have, like, feelings for girls, and I came out. Actually, funny story, I didn't come out. Should I say this on this? I don't give a fuck. I didn't come out, actually, like, to my school. I came out to a couple close friends of mine first, and I was terrified. Honestly, like, I was terrified. And the first person I ever came out to was actually my friend named Steph. I'm not really close to her anymore, but at the time, she was probably, other than her, my, like, best friend. And all I had to do was I had to tell her something, she got it, like, right off the bat. And I remember I was terrified, and I was freaking out that if anyone else ever found out, like, I would be, like, destroyed. And because it was scary, because it was enough, and I was only 14. I still am only 14. I was, like, 13. I came out,
yeah,
I was, like, 13. It was last year. It was, like, way early 7th grade. I'm going to 9th now.
Yeah, because you were going out Casey by February this year. You want out there?
Okay. But, it was very early, and she was the first person I ever told. She took it very well. She told me that nothing was going to change, and, like, you know, it helped me a little bit, and it helped me realize that maybe I was just I was being over dramatic, and I was assuming things, and it probably wasn't going to happen. So I started telling my close friends one by one. I think I told you second, because I felt guilty that I didn't tell her first, because I was closer with her than I was with Steph. And you ready for this one? My best friend in the entire world, I've known her since I was, like, 2, had the worst reaction. Real good way to comfort me. I was sitting up.
It was like 2 in the morning.
It was like 1:30 in the morning, and I was lying here, and I felt really bad that I didn't tell her, and I was, like, bugging me, and I couldn't get it off my mind, so I called her. And I think I woke her.
You did?
I woke her.
It was,
and
like,
she's
really
like, what do you want? And I'm like, I wanted to tell you something. She's like, what? And she was so, like, pissed that I woke her. And I was like, yeah, because I came out as bi first. Because I still like guys. It was early. I was really confused. And if anything, I knew that I was bi. So I called her, and I'm like, I think I'm bisexual. And she was like, the fuck? For who? And I'm like, for who? And then we started, like, talking about it for a couple minutes, and she told me to try having a conversation with her while she was awake, and I hung up. And no matter how badly she took it, and no matter how much she made me feel like she was a jackass, it got better when she was awake. And, you know, I felt a lot better that I told her. And then after that, I started telling some more close friends. I remember I told my friend Paige in May. A lot of my friends were surprised, but they, like, weren't really, like, they didn't judge me. Everyone was comforting. Everyone, like, said it was fine. I told my friend Paige. I told my friend Brianna. I told my friend Marissa. I told a couple of my friends in school who I thought I could really trust. My friend Kristen. I told.
Any guys?
No, I didn't really tell any guys. Because guys can't keep their mouth shut. And I just started telling my group of like really close friends. I told them one by one. I told my girl, I'm not going to mention her name, but the girlfriend I have right now, I told her. I told a couple other people. And I had like a good group going of like maybe 10, 12 people that knew. And I was happy because that was like my group. And then it was early September. Was it 8th grade? It had to be. It had to put in when they. It was September, so it had to be this day. So I took two of my friends that I told prior. We got into like a major fight, which really should have been one, but that's not the point. And they thought it was a really good idea to take it upon themselves to inform the entire school of this lovely fact of mine on a day that I was homesick, so I wasn't even there to defend myself. And I started getting all these chats and all these calls, people asking me if it was true and telling me who told them. And then she called me and told me that the whole school knew, and there were people coming up to me in groups, swarming me at school the next day, asking me if it was true, and it was just uncomfortable. Like, something like that, you kind of want to tell people on your own. You don't really want it to be done for you, because it's a really touchy subject, and to have it just be thrown out like that, it was kind of like, it put a lot of pressure on me, and, you know, I told everyone who asked, and I just broke down crying in the middle of school, and it was bad. I couldn't handle it, and you know, I think I kind of just made myself scared because I wasn't ready for that kind of like, alright, I'm 14, I just started 8th grade, and something like this is already completely out. Like, the whole grade knows something about me that my family doesn't even know, the people that are close to me don't even know. And it was rough, but I got past it. All my friends were accepting. There was really nobody who gave me a problem for it. And, you know, everybody told me it was okay. And honestly, like, I'm happy it happened, as much as I hate that they did that to me, because nobody should ever have to go through someone doing something like that to you. Honestly, if they hadn't done it, I don't know when I would have ended up doing it, and it took a lot of pressure off me in the long run, because now I can be myself. I can put this up on YouTube for anyone who needs it, if anyone will ever find it, and not worry that people from school are going to find it and, like, hold it over me. I mean, like, yeah, I haven't really had any bad reactions, but I've had a couple problems. You know, there have been people who've threatened to tell people before any of this happened, and, you know, it's rough, but, I'll talk about family now. I told my mom June, I want to say something in the June 20th area, not June 20th, around June, like, 16th, 17th of 2012. It was it 2012? Yes, right? Yeah, 2012. Yeah, but yeah, it was 2012, and it was the day before my science final for 7th grade, and we were sitting downstairs and on my couch, and I don't remember what we were talking about, but I remember her making a comment about how her gaydar is amazing, and I got really quiet. I figured, what a good time. Either she's hinting at me because she knows me better than anybody else knows me. I can look at her in a certain way and she can figure out what I'm thinking. And she literally, like, I think she knew, or she did know, but I looked at her and I'm like, so how good is that gaydar? And she's like, what do you mean? I'm like, I think I'm bi. And she was like, you think? I'm like, I'm bi. And she just looked at me and I'm like, do you have a problem? And she's like, Sarah, all my friends are gay. Do you think I have a problem? And we talked about it, and she made fun of me for a while about how she's known since I was like 5, because I think, as you could tell, I'm not the girliest of all people, and growing up I used to be big on the whole wife beater, basketball shorts, little thug at 6 kind of look, and she told me how her and her friends have always talked about how they were waiting for me to just tell her, and it went really well, and that took a lot of pressure off my shoulders too. So I know a lot of people aren't as lucky as me to have like something like that go so smoothly, but it's important to like know that if they can't accept it for like what you are, it's not your fault, and it happens to a lot of people, and it's very unfortunate, but like you can't help that. And then my dad, I told my dad November 6th. We were in my back room. All the lights were off because we had no power, because it was right in the middle of like Sandy. And I figured, what a great time. I don't have to look him in the eye, because something about just that whole protective father side, I was very scared. And I told my mom I was ready, and I made her go outside and smoke so I could talk to him alone. and I sat down across from him in this pitch black room, and I looked at him as much as I could, and I said, "You love me no matter what, right?" And he goes, "Yeah." And I go, "I love you very much, and I feel like I need to tell you something." And I told him that I was bi, and he got very quiet, and I asked him if he was okay, and he told me that as long as I'm happy, he's happy, and asked me if it was like I was positive, and I said I was. And then he hugged me and told me that no matter what, he's always going to be protective, but as long as I'm happy, so is he. And it went a lot better than I thought it would. And honestly, now he's like the greatest dad about it. He loves my girlfriend very much, and he's already considering her part of the family. I've been with her for a while, and he's just always been there as someone like to talk to. He's never like been bad about it. And my brother is 8. My brother does not really understand that stuff. He calls my girlfriend. He gets that because we've not really been too generous with the PDA in front of him, because who cares? But he doesn't quite understand anything yet, so I have not really reached that topic yet. But honestly, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Like, I don't care whatever, he'll figure it out. My grandpa, he's a rabbi, so I was scared of all people to tell him, because religiously I know if he'd have like a problem, and he told me that as long as they're Jewish, he doesn't care who or what I marry, and that he's met my girlfriend a couple times. She's 12.5%. He's met my girlfriend a couple times, and he likes her, and he said as long as I'm happy, it really doesn't matter. Or basically his words was, it doesn't matter if it's a penis or a vagina as long as I'm happy. And my other grandpa was a little rough, but he was okay with it. He's 83. Old values. Those are the worst. The point of this video is, I don't care if it gets 7 views, I don't care if it gets 7 million views. The point is, if I can help anybody who's having trouble with this subject and feels like, something's gonna go wrong, and you feel like you're not gonna have support, you're not gonna have people who are there for you, and you're gonna have a very rocky life ahead of you, then maybe this will help. And if anything doesn't go right and you feel like you're alone, you're not, because there are a lot of people who have trouble with this subject, and honestly, everything gets better. If you can't have a very smooth coming out of the closet like I did, then it's just,
it wasn't in the closet for you.
It was just it was a
very
door.
obvious.
People are waiting for me to come. They're like, "Sarah, you can come out now."
It's time.
Yeah, it's time. You've been there for a while. But honestly though, in all seriousness, it all gets better, and I hope this helps somebody, because who you are, you can't really help it. So might as well face it sooner or later. Honestly, no matter what your situation is, if anyone has problems, you can't base your life on what somebody else thinks. You can't let other people run your life. And 10, 15 years, these people won't matter. Obviously your family will, but if you're worried that you're going to be judged by your friends, in the long run, they won't matter. Truth be told, you may not know of some of them, you can't let them affect the way that you choose to live your life, and you can't let them affect the choices you make, and you can't let them affect whether or not you're comfortable in your own skin, because honestly, all that's up to you. And the way you handle it is the way that you basically are controlling the situation, and if you're mature about it, then I see no reason for nobody else to be. Anything else you want to add?
No.
No?
No.
Okay, so I hope that, if anyone did find this, I was able to help at least one person who's maybe, a little stressed about the subject and is nervous that, not everything's going to go your way. And for anyone else who's watching this that doesn't, have things like the story about, honestly, no matter what your situation is, I guarantee you're not alone. And everything will work out as long as you want it to. So, thank you.